Hi, it's Nancy welcoming you to Garden Scroll. I didn't show you what my friend Susie got me, and it's solar powered too, so it will light up at night. It's pretty even in the daylight. This is filling up more and more, and remember that one at the very bottom, I said I don't think it'll make it, but we'll see. It made it. My little sweet peas are beginning to go up the trellis. Not very far yet, but I think they will. And I love these little whirligigs even more than I thought I would. When the wind comes along and makes them move, it just brings a shining light to them, almost not an actual light that, well, I wish it would go ahead and go so you could see what it does. Maybe it will. Not getting a lot of wind right now though. There, do you see that? How sweet is that? And I got this little yellow coneflower at a 90% off sale. I'm aware that it may not make it, but I'm also aware that it could make it. And it's a perennial. If it did make it, it could give us many years of enjoyment and beauty. And I did go ahead and put some more little starts from this little pot into this little pot, and so far it looks like they're doing good. Today is July the 12th, and we got several little showers last night and again this morning, so I'm going to go out and see how much is in the rain gauge. Things are still growing bigger and more beautiful, and I love it, but the heat is so hard on me to be out here. I don't know, I'm just losing any pleasure in the garden, and of course it happens every summer, and it's just going to be hard. Look at the pretty bougainvillea blooms. I love them. They just look like bright crepe paper to me. This still is looking more pink than purple though, but I still like it, but I still want it purple. I found a slug on this the other day. It's looking much better now. Look at that piece right there. That's probably, well, I'll find it for you right there. That's probably from a slug, or a snail. I need to put something on these again. Because I don't want this pretty coleus to go away out of my garden. But as I was saying, if I can't stay out here and keep them watered, they're not going to do well anyway. They have to have water. They respond so well to it, like they're not they're not struggling like I am. It just seems so wonderful for them, but you know, it's not, if they're not. It's still true what I heard a long time ago before I ever started gardening, that the most important thing in the garden is the footsteps of the gardener. If we're not out there, it's not doing well. And I always say it reminds me of look at this pretty caladium, but I always say it reminds me of a whole yard full of 2-year-olds. They just think they can do anything and everything, and they're there for just because they are there. It's not like for your enjoyment. They're just taking over. But then whenever they need something, they lose all that. they just lose all that dependency or independence and become dependent upon the gardener to stay alive. I love to see them beautiful and looking great. Look at the patients this morning. They just look so good. And this white caladium, it looks like a big old bright light over there in the shade. And look at this pretty strawberry drop coleus. It's just about to fill this completely up, and it still does look good. I was anxious to see what it was going to look like in here because I thought it could look just really good, and it does. And the little seeds that I planted last, a lot of them didn't come up, and I didn't think any of them were going to, but as I look, there's one other pot I want to show you too, but you can tell there's some tiny ones coming up in here. Not very many, but they may make all the difference if they grow up and fill out with pretty bloom. And look at this pretty blue ageratum. I planted several, but some of them just did like some of my periwinkle did, and just sat there and wilted and went away. But this one, thank goodness it did not. It's looking great. And I certainly love the garden after rain. It really does just look so beautiful. Things open up and flourish more than they ever had before. But as lovely and as hopeful. Look at all these buds that are fixing to open up on this black and blue salvia. But it, you know, no matter how lovely it is, it won't be lovely if I'm not out here taking care of it. And I just don't really know how I'm going to handle that heat. I've tried and I'm still trying, but it's just about too hard. I just about can't do it. Every summer that happens, of course. So far I've been able to hold it together until fall when the pretty weather comes back again, but I just don't know if I can, and that's not a good feeling. Look at this pretty lantana, beautiful blooms, and for that matter the pretty blue nepeta or catmint is looking great. And I'm going to go around on the other side so you can see even more of the lantana where you can see the brighter colors too. So here they are, looking great. Someone at our church said they got a ½ inch, and then someone else said they got 2 inches. So I'm anxious to see what we have out there in that gauge, but I know that we usually get the lesser of the amounts of rain. The grass that I planted seed under our redbud tree is still looking good, but I also tried, I told you I was going to try to get that strip on our west side of the house, and it's not doing so great yet, if it does at all. I think I just started a little late, but I just felt like doing it. As far as when you always want to do it and you never really quite feel like doing it, but you just have that in your mind that it needs to be done. I'm going to go out there and try. So that's where I was. And this little yellow coneflower that I got on sale is still alive. It looks pretty good. So this strip right here is what I'm trying to get reseeded, and it does not look like any of it has come up, so that's not a good thing, but I'm glad I tried. But it's terrible when you try and do all that out in the heat and then find out, well, it didn't really work anyway. But then there is a possibility that rain may still bring out the little grass seed. I can see some right here in this spot. And right here's a better little stand of it. But I'm pretty sure it'll have to be redone again. And I'll probably wait till spring then, maybe. When maybe it'll have a better chance. So we're at the rain gauge now, and look at that. We did get 1 inch. That's great. Some more of the little zinnias in this pot have opened up. And I'm trying to pull up these zinnias because they're too invasive. They proliferate like crazy. I think they would take over everything. In my gardening years, I've done that several times because I wanted some pretty yellow zinnias in the garden, and I got them. I did that with Solidago. I did that with one of the annual red salvia. So pretty, and I just loved it. I did that with the pretty larkspur, and I do love all that stuff. But even though the larkspur, I was so proud of it because it did not choke anything out. It just grew up with everything until I realized that it's actually shading out my irises. They were not getting any sun because of those growing up around them. So I'm trying to get rid of the ones that just take over. And here I went and planted. I never thought about zinnias overtaking something, but they do. And this lovely candy cane verbena is looking great. And you can tell I did go ahead and put some instead of tying this on with that green string, I've tied it on with some of the clear fishing line. It looks so much better. The coleuses are growing up quite a bit now too and looking good. My little yellow mandevilla died in this pot, and I hate that, but I was able to find another one, so they're growing back up together and looking good. Look, the rain brought out a little clematis bloom. Some of the zinnias are looking good right now too after the rain. And I meant to show you this little pot before I went to the back too, because this one I determined that there were no seeds coming up, and then lo and behold, there they are. Several little seeds. So if they grow into big pretty profusion zinnias, they could fill this pot full of pretty bloom. I've been trying to keep off these spent blooms off of the pretty peppermint verbena, so it can keep making these lovely little blooms. So I had to go to my doctor and to my eye doctor this last week, and it just wasn't a great report either time. My blood sugar had been a whole notch higher than it should have been, and that's only the second time it ever did that, and I was expecting maybe it would be better this time, and instead it went up a whole nother notch. So I don't know what a person's to do. I've thought about taking the Ozempic. I've been prescribed that, and some of those, Monjaro and Jardiance and all that, but with my insurance it's still $500 a month, and that's just not going to happen. So I don't really know. He's going to put me on a different one, but he forgot to call it in, so I'm going to have to call him again and check on that and see if I can get him to call it in for me. And then I went to my eye doctor, and my eye doctor said, well, yeah, I told him first I'm not seeing as well as I used to, and he said, yes, you are. Your numbers, you can read this line, and last time you could only read this line. But you know what? He's not seeing it through my eyes. I can tell when I watch the TV that I used to could read the little notes on it for myself and my husband, but I can't read it at all now. It just puts a big light around it, like it's encased in a halo, and you can't tell what's halo and what's the word that's written there. So I don't know what to do about things sometimes, and I just feel like I did it at the wrong time. I should have listened to my own intuition, but I didn't, because I thought maybe their experience and expertise would outweigh my intuition, but it didn't. So I don't know, really. I just have to deal with it, and I'm just grateful to be able to see it all. But I wish it would have went better. And then too, I keep having to go back, and I keep wondering, why am I going back? Why is this because I need to, or is it just so they can get more money, or what the deal is? But anyway, I'm going to go back again. He said I had some scar tissue where they did the cataract surgery that needs to be lasered off. And of course that scares me, because I don't know. He said, oh, it's not invasive at all. So we'll see. I don't know what to do. I'll just be glad when it's over. I'm ready to let that part of it go. I think sometimes doctors think because you're old and you're not working a actual job where you work for the man, even if you are working a garden and trying to take care of it, there's a lot of work out here doing that. And actually, if you would just think on that and give me a few, subscribe to the channel so that I can see that I'm getting something for all my work. But anyway, I'll just have to do the best I can and see what happens. And some comments. Comments are always good too. And it won't be long till we have little pots just full of zinnias. I hope they do well. You know, you have to keep them watered or they won't. And I just told you, I don't know if I'm going to be able to be out here like I need to be in order to keep them looking good. But I'll do the best I can. And hopefully they'll still be there when the weather gets better. Please be sure to like and to subscribe to the channel.